Alright, welcome back. What do we got on the bench today? We have a Yamaha Stage Custom 13x9 rack tom, which we're going to replace the stock 1.5, 1.6mm triple flange hoop with a 2.3 triple flange tube, or 2.3mm triple flange tube. We're also going to remove the stock Remo UT/UC heads, which are there at the top of the frame, and we're going to put on some Evans G2 clears on the batter and G1 clears on the Resonant. So let's make a start, and then we'll tune it all up and we'll see how it sounds. So we'll get the phone out of the way. I've got the TuneBot app here. We'll go into detail in what I do here shortly. I've also got the TuneBot Studio here. As I said, we'll go into detail in that soon. Alright, so first things first, what does it sound like out of the box? Because I literally pulled this out of the box not too long ago. Yeah, sounds horrible. Yep. Low and horrible. Alright. Okay, so let's get the stock head, stock hoop off. Now, as you may have noticed, I've only got one hoop here and there's two on this drum. That's because I'm only going to be swapping the batter only hoop. Alright, let's get these out of the way and let's get started. Get one of these if you don't. These are really handy. I think all the manufacturers make one now. When I say all, I mean some. Better. There we go. Okay. Ooh. You can feel the weight difference. I've done this in a previous video when I swapped the batter stock Yamaha hoops on the 10-inch tom and the 12-inch tom and the 16 floor tom with 2.3, and that's the original Yamaha that I just took off this drum. And this is the replacement 2.3mm triple flange hoop, and there is a considerable weight difference. This is definitely thinner, this being the Yamaha one compared to the 2.3 replacement. So let's put the 2.3 up there. We'll take the stock Yamaha one and I will safely store it to be repurposed at another time. Alright, goodbye Remo UT drumhead. Check the bearing edge. Okay, so I got a little dimple there. Don't know if you can see it. Let's see if we can do this and it works without being too crappy. It is right out of frame. Right there. Tiny little one. Not a big deal whatsoever. Oops. Where was it? Right there. Probably can't see it. What I usually do with things like that, if it's not too bad, I'll just leave it. And this is not too bad if I'm honest, but me being who I am, you know, I'll give it a little go with sandpaper just to make sure that it's good. So use something ultra fine, which is what I'm using here. Let's get this thing zoomed back. All right. So what I'm going to do now is work with the shape of the bearing edge. I think these are 45s. I'm not 100% sure. They're certainly not rounded. So let's just clean them up a little bit. I'm feeling for that little dimple, which is not even the size of a pinhead. It's tiny. And it's not on the apex of the bearing edge. It's just on the shell side, the wrap side or the lacquer side, outside of the shell. So that's all I'm doing, hardly anything, and that's gone. It's not even there anymore. Perfect. That's all you need. Okay, I've got another tiny little one over here. We'll zoom in on this one so you can see it. Hopefully you can. I don't know if you can. Okay. It's just right there at the tip of my nail. You probably can't even see it. Right there. again, it's on the outside. It's on the second ply in. So we've got the outside, one bright ply and then a dark ply. It's on that dark ply, but it is on the outside of the apex, so it's not really affecting anything. Yep, perfect. Let's keep going around. Oops, sorry guys. Zoom this back out. There we go. And the rest of it. Now that is perfect. You saw how much I used this ultra fine sanding block. Hardly anything. Just enough to make sure that the apex of this bearing edge does not have any variation in it whatsoever. And now it doesn't. It's actually perfect. So QC out of China, pretty good I'd say. So not too worried there. Alrighty. Okay, once this is off, I'm just going to check that these are all tight out of the factory just quickly. As you've noticed, they are single screw lugs. They're all beautiful. QC out of the factory is pretty good. Yep, they look good. I've read that this can come loose on some people who own new Stage Custom. So what is it? It's the vent hole, essentially. That right there. So sometimes if you've got a rattly drum, this is what you check. So I've read. Has not happened to me. And the yes mount is only held on by 2 screws and they're tight. So that's all good. Alright. So back to Yamaha doing a solid and putting a badge on either side of the yes mount bracket, because you can hang it left, you can hang it right, and Yamaha still gets their advertisement. So that's a good thing. So mine will be hanging right and the logo's up there. So let's go find a head to put on it, and the head of choice is the G2. So there it is right there. So let's get that out. And there we go. One brand spanker G2. Looks pretty good. Quick bearing edge check. We are good. Let's line that up on the logo. Looks good. Well, let's put this 2.3mm triple flange hoop on. Upgraded over the stock. Let's get it lined up there. They're all lined up. Put the tension rods back in. Excellent. 3 more to go. Being a 6 lugger. Whoops. Yeah. There we go. So I'm just taking these down to before finger tight. I don't want to do any torquing of the tension rods like this. That's not. Alright. Drum keys. So let's get these finger tight. Finger tight, finger tight, finger tight. Right, they're all finger tight. I'm just going to leave them finger tight for now. We will flip it over and do the resonant head. Alright. So, let's get rid of that Remo UC drum head. So off it goes. Nope, wrong way. There we go. Alright, they should be all out. Of course they're not. Alright, now they're all out. So we're keeping that triple flange hoop. We're just changing this Resonant Remo UC. Okay. We will put the G1 on in just a moment, but before that, let's check the bearing edge. Right, there's the seam right there. I love how they mark it with a bit of a, I don't know, bit of ink, some Sharpie pen or something. Right, bearing edge. Absolutely perfect. That's really nice. Really nice. And that darker ply and the inner much lighter ply, that's really sharp actually. That's nice. Alright, perfect. Don't need to do anything on that one. So that's great. Alright, let's get this G1 Resonant head on. There we go. One brand spanker G1. Again, we're going to line up those logos to the badge. And we'll put the hoop on first, eh? Those aftermarket hoops that I've put on all of the batters. The quality of them is not as good as I would hope them to be. They'll do, but had I had my purchase option again, I would have got better quality ones. But having said that, they're going to do the job just fine. This is a Stage Custom after all. It's a sub $1,000 US drum kit, one of the best you can get. And these relatively inexpensive and affordable upgrades, new heads, batter hoop, can take it from an already amazing sounding drum kit to really good quality. Really good quality. Very quickly. So that's what we're doing. Nope. Let's go that way. Alright, that's on pretty good. Let's do some finger tight. Okay, that's pretty good finger tight. Gonna seat those heads a little. Alrighty. Okay. Let's move on to getting this tuned up. So, as said in previous videos, I like to use two drum keys. So, what have I got? I've got a Yamaha one and just a Pearl one. And we have 6 lugs, so here we go. Just going to do a double on each. So half turn, full turn, half turn, another half turn for a full turn. Alright, so we're somewhere. Let's see where somewhere is. Turn on the tune bot. I don't even know if you can see that. I'll pop it. I'll bring it down closer. How's that? Maybe you can see it there. Yeah, you can. Alright, so I have it so the bottom of the tune bot is not touching the head. So you'll notice on the bottom of these there's a whole bunch of little grooves that it can sit on the hoop. That's what you want. You want that sort of actually like that. That's how you really want it, where it's not affecting the head whatsoever. So you can barely see that. So let's see where we are. 150 hertz, 148, 146. Okay. A couple of these need to come up just a little bit to get them up. Sometimes I even like to take the tune bot off and go round. And, you don't solely rely on this. I mean, it's fun to play with. Seriously fun to play with. Listen to it. All right. Let's now bring up the app, the TuneBot app. So, drum set calculator, and see if I can bring that up a bit closer. There you go. I have a 10, I have a 12, I have a 13, and I have a 16. I found with the Stage Customs, because they're designed really for bright attack, resonance, sustain is not their strong point. I bump the resonance right up there, and that'll do one amazing thing when we go to hit the calculator. All of the heads are the same frequency. So you can see the 10 is 253 on each lug, on the top and bottom, or the batter and the reso. And that is replicated through the 12, the 13 and the 16. So we can see here, that's what I'm looking for. F sharp, second octave, and I'm going for 159 Hertz on all of the lugs on both sides of this drum. So that's what I'm going to go for. And if you want to hear what this actually sounds like on the 10, 12 and 16 only of the Yamaha Stage Custom, watch the last video I just put out, you'll hear it. Alright, let's go. 159. So we're already at roughly 140, 158, so let's keep going. So I don't have to go up too much more. This head's got a seat as well, so 160. Yeah, 159. Okay, so when I do this, it's going to drop quite a bit. Okay, now that should take it from 159 to who knows what, probably 150. 130, okay. Those keys are rattling. So you can see the importance of seating ahead, and these will seat even more. So you've got to be on top of tuning on new heads, especially these. So let's bring all these up again because they've got to come up quite a bit. Alright, drop stick, perfect. Okay, 148, still got to come up quite a bit. Let's try that. When you tune it, and when you turn the drum keys and you hear the head make a noise, it's stretching and cracking and breaking its seal. That's a good thing on new heads. That's sort of what you want. You don't want that happening while you're on a gig or playing with it, because it detunes quickly when that happens. 158. Yep. Don't hit the drum key. 158. So we are super close to our 159. I am going to seat that much more, but for the purpose of this video, I'll stop there. It's at the desired hertz. And let's flip it over and do that resonant side now. Okay, same thing. We're going for 159. So let's put the TuneBot on. You can't see it. Now you can. Fitting all this into frame is just fun times. All right, let's go. Finger tight. Check. Yep. Yep. Okay. 2 drum keys. Half turn. Another half turn for a full turn. Half. Full. See where we're at. well, wildly different right there. You can hear it. That sounds terrible, so let's keep going. You can hear it. Crack. Did you hear that? It was all the glue and everything. That's awesome. That's what you want. All right. Still unbelievably terrible. Take it down again. Big time. Right. Rinse and repeat. Where are we? 56, 58, 56, 59. Okay. You know, just the slightest turn of tightening these will affect all of the others. So, for instance, if this is, I'm going for 159. So let's just say, for example's sake, this was 157 and this was 161. If I turned this up from 157 to, let's say, 159, this would go from 161 to, say, like 162 or 163. And it's a fun game of getting it all sorted out. This one was 161, now it's 160. This was 160 before, so let's see what it is now. 159, see? Okay, that's pretty good. So, according to TuneBot app, we should be going for F sharp on the second octave. Now, if I know anything about this, and I don't, it will be a little higher than an F sharp. Only because of the nature of these bright birch shells on these Yamaha Stage Customs. So let me just bring up my little chart. So yeah, as I said, we're going for F sharp on the second octave, so it may even be closer to G when I do this. So let's have a quick look. So let's flip it over, grab it by the yes mount, and let's see what happens. Let's put that on. Yep, what did I tell you? G. So it's just slightly higher than the F sharp. That's okay. That's acceptable. That's due to Birch and Stage Customs being bright, and I've noticed that's how they behave. The Stage Custom that I have anyway. All of the toms, regardless of what the TuneBot will tell you it is, if you religiously tune it to the TuneBot settings, and it's fun to do so, will always be a half step higher in pitch. Don't let it ruin your life. Just move on. It's still going to sound good. If all of them are a half pitch up, or even if they're not, it's so indistinguishable to anyone in the front house and in the crowd that don't worry about it. This is good enough. So I'm going to leave it at G2 because G2 is only a half step higher than F sharp on the second, so don't worry about it. At least I think it is. So I'll stop right here. I'm going to mount this on the stand I've got behind me, and then we'll see how it sounds. Back in a sec. Okay, so here are my 10, 12, 16 Yamaha Stage Custom drums, tuned equally as per these TuneBot settings. So if you didn't watch the last video, I'll give you a demo. But as you can see, we just finished doing the 13, and there's the rest of them. So the 16, the 13, the 12, and the 10. Now, if I was to click the back button and remove the 10, or the 12, or the 13, or whatever, they all still stay the same. So don't be put off by this. 10, 12, 13, 16. In most cases, I'm going to drop the 10 completely and just go at 12, 13, 16 for live performances. In some cases, I will rock a 6-piece kit, but in most cases, it'll be 12, 13, 16 as opposed to 10, 12, 16 that it is now. So, there we go. If you want to know how the 10, 12, and 16 sound in this configuration, here we go. Loudness alert. Cool. Let's lose the 10. Let's take the 12 and pop it over here. Well, first of all, let's put our brand new 13 on and get that tuned up without doing any damage. Yeah, there we go. Alright, my big head was in frame. Of course it was. Let's stop it from touching, shall we? Let's take the 12, put that on. There we go. The Yes mounting system from Yamaha. The distance that you have the toms connected, further down the slidey post or further up, the further down you go, the more of the resonance and sustain in the drum, mainly the sustain, you kill, completely kill it. You'll get sort of like a two-tone resonance sustain thing happening where the initial attack will die out real quick because it's just completely choked out, and there'll be an underlying sort of grumble happening, sort of like a resonance grumble. So I like to have it up as pretty close as I can to not choke the drum out. So just be mindful, if you have it down that post quite a bit, you're killing a lot of the drum's natural tone. All right, let's see what this thing sounds like on a stand. Sounds pretty good. Now, they've all got this gel dot on them except for the 13. I'm not a huge fan of muffling, but I've had so much problem with that 12 just not sounding optimal with this head combination. So just for the sake of uniformity, I'm going to put that right there, and let's replay this whole little scenario. So 12, 13, 16, equal tunings. That's going to project pretty well out the front, and I mean front of house. Sounds pretty good from behind the kit too. Quieter. There you go. The Yamaha Stage Custom 12, 13 and the 16 with equal tuning. Just for giggles, I don't have a stand to put this on at the moment. This is the 10. Let's put the 10 there. I'll just put it here and hold it, eh? We'll see how that sounds. Let's grab it by the yes mount instead. This will sound slightly different when it's on the stand. Cool. Hope you found that interesting. If you've got a Stage Custom, try equal head tuning, regardless of if you're a Remo guy, a Code guy, an Aquarian guy, an Evans guy, or gal. When I say guy, I mean anyone. And try them in equal tuning. I found that equal tuning on the Stage Customs work really, really well. Give it a crack. Good times. I can't wait to take the 12, 13, 16 on the next gig, which is coming up in a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. If you do happen to try this, leave me a comment. I'd love to know your experiences with it and how your bandmates have experienced it and what they say. You know, anyone who gives you any sort of feedback or comment, it'd be great to hear what they've said. But I wholeheartedly recommend you give it a try. I, for the longest time, have been a tighter reso head than the batter head. But I watched a Simon Phillips video recently, and he's a Remo ambassador. Both sides clear, and he likes them equally tensioned. So the same, batter and reso. And I respect Simon Phillips. He's a sound engineer and a drummer, and he knows his stuff when it comes to sound and drum playing. So you know, you listen to these people who know more than you and have done all of the work. Just stand on their shoulders. So I thought I will try it, and it works really well on the Stage Customs. Really, really well, actually. All right, enough waffling. Bye.